Join us in celebrating the academic achievement of the thousands of students graduating today. You know what they say, that a journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with the first step. And we do wish them well, of course, as they explore the job market out there. But before we proceed with the celebrations, let me hand you over to my co-host Nicholas Omondi for more details.
Morning here in Thika for the second graduation of Mount Kenya University. This graduation is going to be graced by Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Vice President, and also Honorable William Ruto, who's the Minister for Higher Education. And with a vision to be a center for excellence in training, research and development in Africa, and a mission to attain world-class standard training, research and innovation for sustainable individual prosperity and social development. Mount Kenya University is actually ranked the 16th in the country, and it is the 8,225th in Webometrics rankings in the whole world. The idea actually behind establishing Mount Kenya University was mooted way back in 1996 when the precursor to the university, the Thika Institute of Technology, was founded as a computer outreach program. Then in the year 2000, the institute developed into a commercial college offering management and computer training programs. Then in the year 2005, the institute became the first private institution in Kenya to be allowed to train pharmaceutical technologists in the Pharmacy Poisons Board by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board of the Ministry of Health. Then in the year 2006, the Commission of Higher Education validated and approved the Institute's request for collaboration with JKUCAT to offer both diploma and degree programs. In today's graduation, more than 1,400 graduates will be awarded various certificates, diplomas, and degrees. And notably, in today's graduation, 38 graduates will be awarded degrees, and most of them are actually of Rwandese origin. And also in today's graduation, Honorable Njenga Karume will be awarded a honorary degree. And viewers, it is extremely exciting here in Thika. Mount Kenya University is actually situated along General Cargo Road here in Thika. I will now take you over back to Doreen Apollos with an interview with the Vice Chancellor. Join us, be with us as we celebrate this auspicious occasion of the second graduation here at Mount Kenya University. I am Nicholas Omondi. Be with you until the end of the program.
Move down a bit. Go down. Go down. Go down. Go down. Then side kidogo hivi. Ringa kidogo.
Thank you, Nicholas. Indeed, on this other side of the institution, I have the Mount Kenya University Vice Chancellor, Stanley Waudo, and I'll be talking to him. He'll be giving us a little insight on about the institution. Thank you, Professor, for joining us. How are you feeling today? It's your second graduation. It's getting bigger and better. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's like when you have a wedding that's successful. The university mission has three components. One is teaching, research, and service provision. And if you're teaching, it means you have trainees, and eventually they have to be those who go through the training successfully, they are awarded academic certificates. So actually the occasion is for us to recognize our trainees by awarding them various academic certificates.
All right, and congratulations to those students. Now, Mount Kenya University is based on the belief that applied science and technology is the base for economic growth for any country. Have you been able to achieve this belief, and in view of you shouldn't concentrate more on the theory and leave out the practical side of it?
Thank you very much. As a university, we have been in existence for the last 2 years. our approach to our philosophy in terms of science and technology is that first you must then have programs that will support that philosophy. And our science-based programs, as the public knows, we have pharmacy, engineering, clinical medicine, and so forth. So really, that's the beginning. We are in our 2-year program training. We are also increasing our infrastructure in terms of making sure that we have enough laboratories. Today, we have the pleasure of the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya opening one of our ultra-modern laboratory, dental laboratory. So really, we are putting the environment, the necessary enabling environment for us to be able to implement the philosophy of the university in terms of academic character.
All right. Having said that, well, what character should we expect from the graduates who leave this place today, having their degrees and their diplomas and certificates, and once they go out to venture into the labor market?
The universities, just like Mount Kenya University, we want to deliver quality. Quality in our training, quality in our products. So Mount Kenya graduates are going to be of importance in terms of contributing to national, social, economic development, because the training they're getting is both balanced, theoretical and practical. For example, in terms of practical, as I said earlier, we have practicals that go on in our laboratories. We also attach them to relevant institutions. For example, Thika Hospital is one of our partner institutions. So the students who are training clinical medicine, they go there for their attachment. And this is part of making sure that when they leave the university, they have both the theoretical and the practical aspects of training.
All right. And I'm sure you've been able to keep in touch with the first lot of graduates, the alumni, and you've been able to monitor their performance in the job market. How are they excelling so far?
They are doing extremely well. In fact, 3 days ago, I was talking to one of them. He's working with a pharmaceutical company, and I asked him a direct question. Did you feel that you are trained well by Mount Kenya University? He said, in fact, he feels much ahead of those people who have experience. So that's how well we are doing. Thank you.
All right. And how would you rate your performance in comparison with the public universities and the private universities? Keeping in mind that performance is not only academic. We're also looking at discipline. We're also looking at extracurricular activities. In terms of performance, we are moving on very well. We have our students participating in co-curriculum activities. In fact, our 2 teams, volleyball teams, the male and female teams, they actually won the inter-university championship. In terms of outreach programs, we are doing very well. We are actually offering training to untrained teachers in the Dadaab refugee camp. And the graduates will be part of today's ceremony. In terms of really training and what have you, we have put the necessary mechanism in place. We have structures that ensure that we have quality training. Our recruitment criteria meet the national requirements. Our admission criteria also meet national criteria. And what's your projection for the university in the coming times?
The projection will look at it this way. In the last 2 years, we started 2008 in May with 3,000 students. Today, we have about 8,000 students. That is an increase of more or less 5,000 students. We started with 1 degree program. We now have 8 programs that have been approved by the Commissioner for Higher Education. We also, through partnership, academic exchange programs, we are also offering PhD programs, masters. So really, the sky is the limit for Mount Kenya University.
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations. Of course, it's getting bigger and better as times come by. And of course, you must be wanting to reach and achieving your motto of scaling the heights of education. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time, and we wish you all the best. Well, let's now take you to the podium where the ceremony is underway, and enjoy.
Please join us. We are doing a song from the Luo Lake. Na kwa Kijaluo wanaitanga shalsha. Ndio tunafanya. So if you can dance shalsha, kujeni hapa. Upange line hapa. Yes. Yeah, mnakuja mna line hapa. And this is how we do it. Zuma chako ni jeni nyamalo acheng nyara hero nyando. Ay 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 ay. Yako kura ulolo. Haya laini moja. Acheng yako dongo opera. Alafu tunaenda hivi. Yangulaki ogenda nono acheng yako dongo opera. Haya. Ukisikia ni tamu you turn around. Kiwegi lake okwe wa wachogo kisumulilo. Ay ay ay. Ringa kidogo sana. Zuma chako ni jeni nyamalo acheng nyara hero nyando. Ay ay. Wangni. Yakiwura unyolo nyako acheng nyako longo hobera. Hii inaitwa shati ya MKU. Hey. Ni wanati ogena nono acheng nyako longo hobera. Ay ay ay. Yakiwegi lake okwe wa wachoko kisumulilo. Haya tusimamie hapo. Twende hivi. Hiyo unaringa kama mjaluo. Ringa kama mjaluo. Alafu try to turn around kidogo. Jeni acheng nyara hero nyando. Ay ay ay. Jeni acheng nyara hero. Alafu sasa unakalia. Ikowa nyakane wachopo kunya. Ay ay ay. Ikowa nyakane wachopo kunya. Ay. Ye waparo inyo wila kianda. Ye waparo inyo wila kianda. Disemba. Tuko tayari. Tusonge nyuma kidogo. Nyuma kidogo. Christmas moronyo chiorona. Haya kuwa tayari. Anaenda wapi tunafuata. And this how we go. One. Ay 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 ay. Hey. Si. We are bara bara, we are bara bara. Pari pari, we are bara bara. We are bara bara. Pari pari, we are bara bara. We are bara bara. Pari pari, we are bara bara. We are bara bara. Pari pari. Haya. Huyo wa mwisho nifuate. Nifuate kwa line moja. Nifuate kwa line moja. Alafu hivi ndio unaenda. Haya, bado uko jaribu kuona chini kidogo hivi. Ay ay ay. Nani alisaa hawa?
Ulisa mama.
Haya. Walai. Haya kwa walai. Haya, pale huko. Jaribu kufanya hivi. Ay ay. Ochama boro. Hey, ochama di. Ochama boro. Ah, tuna Rebela mama alafu na hivi and 1 and 2 and 3 and naruka. Hey! 1 2 Hey! Teremuka chini kidogo. Jaribu hii kidogo. Ay, 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 ay. Thank you very much. Wapige makofi. They are our new dancers. Thank you very much. Remember, this is Kayamba Africa. Now we take the microphone back to our MC. Thank you very much.
Duru kwa Kayamba Africa, jamaa. Duru kwa Kayamba Africa. Thank you very much. Wakati wowote msafara wa Vice Chancellor utaingia katika ukumbi wa kufuzu, na kwa hiyo tukae tayari. Kama nilivyoarifu hapo awali, ni kwamba mgeni wa heshima hii leo katika sherehe ya pili ya kufuzu katika chuo hiki ni makamu wa rais aliye pia waziri wa mashauri ya humo nchini, Mheshimiwa Kunradhi Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Following broad consultation, Mount Kenya University will today grant 2 honorary degrees to 2 eminent persons. Itakuwa ni sherehe ya kipekee kabisa, sherehe ya kwanza kabisa kuweza kuandaliwa katika chuo hiki, ambapo watu wawili mashuhuri, mmoja kutoka Kenya, mwingine kutoka Rwanda, tutawajuza hapo baadaye, watatunukiwa degree za heshima, honorary degrees, honoris causa. At this juncture, I'd like to recognize the presence of the ambassador of Libya, Hesham Ali Sharif. Mount Kenya University, in pursuance of its statutory functions, awarded the first honorary degree recognition award at its first graduation ceremony, which was held on 15th May last year, to His Excellency, the retired President Daniel Arap Moi, the former President of the Republic of Kenya. And today, you're going to witness the conferment of honorary degree, Doctor of Education, to Madame Zulfat Mokarubega from Rwanda. Makofi jamaa. Unajua tunawaandaa tu kwa zile sherehe za taadhima. We'll also conferment of honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters, to Honorable James Njenga Karume, EGH. Na kwa hiyo ukifanya utathmini wa kina, utaona kwamba chuo kikuu cha Mount Kenya kilianza katika ngazi za chini na sasa hivi kimeafikia upeo wa juu kabisa hata kuweza kutoa degree za heshima. Kwa wote ambao mmefika hapa, wazazi, wanafunzi, wageni ambao watakuwa katika jukwaa kuu hapa. Kwa mara nyingine tena tunawakaribisha kwa mikono miwili. Labda kuna watu wanajiuliza, huyu mzee anafanya nini hapa? Yeye ni nani? Ametoka wapi? Alikuwa wapi? Alizaliwa wapi? Basi kwa muhtasari, mimi naitwa mzee wa kazi. Jina langu ni Willy Mwangi. Wale ambao mnasikiliza Milele FM, hiyo sauti nafikiri mmeweza kuitambua. Na leo hii mimi MC, Master of Ceremony, na ninafurahi wakati nikiona nyuso ambazo zimechangamka kabisa za wanafunzi, za wazazi kushuhudia sherehe hii. Kwa wale ambao labda hamjafikia kiwango cha chuo kikuu, vijana chipukizi, vijana wadogo, basi huu utakuwa ni mfano mwema nyinyi kushuhudia hawa wenzenu ambao wanafuzu leo. Kwa wale wanafunzi ambao watafuzu leo, labda ningewapa ushauri kutoka kwa mzee kwamba dunia iliyoko nje ni tofauti kabisa. Taswira iliyoko nje ama mandhari ambayo iko nje ya chuo kikuu ni tofauti kabisa na huko nje ambako mtakwenda. Kwa hiyo lazima uwe mtu wa nidhamu, lazima uwe mtu mwadilifu, lazima uwe mtu mwenye unyofu, na mbali ya haya yote umuombe Mwenyezi Mungu matatizo yakikukabili. It's a beautiful day. Lots of sunshine. And every proud parent knows the moment their children graduate, then that's a milestone. And we're looking forward to see young men and young women taking responsibilities of leadership in this great country of Kenya. Kwa waandishi wenzangu wa habari, assalamu alaikum. Kwa hiyo huu ni wakati wenu pia wa kuweza kudhihirisha taaluma yenu. Maybe briefly, before the Vice Chancellor Procession arrives, a very brief history of Madame Zulfat Mokarubega. In the year 2000, she mooted the idea of starting a university in Rwanda. Between 2000 and 2006, a feasibility study on the establishment of Rwanda Tourism University College was conducted. And the college was eventually launched in 2006. From 2006 to date, she is the founder and legal representative of the University College. Madame Mokarubega is one of the pioneers in establishing institutions of higher learning in the Republic of Rwanda. She therefore has been instrumental in developing human resource that at one time was nearly depleted. In 2008, she became a member of the Association of Hospitality Schools in Africa, and she's currently also a member of the Executive Committee of the association. She's also a founder The Chancellor Academic Procession is now entering the graduation square. The Chancellor Academic Procession is now entering the graduation square. Msafara wa Chancellor sasa ndio unaingia katika ukumbi wa kufuzu. Na naomba nyote msimame wakati msafara huo ukiingia mahali hapa. The academic, or rather, the Chancellor's academic procession consists of the following: 2 student representatives, the mess bearer, members of academic staff, heads of departments, deans of schools, directors, librarian, registrars, deputy vice chancellors, members of the university council, members of the board of trustees. It also consists of vice chancellors of other universities, Minister for Higher Education, Science and Technology, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, and Chancellor of Mount Kenya University. wimbo wa taifa. Please be seated. I now kindly request the Vice Chancellor to constitute the assembly for the second graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University.
As per the powers bestowed upon me by the University Senate, I hereby declare the congregation of the second graduation ceremony for Mount Kenya University constituted. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, allow me to invite the Vice Chancellor to address the congregation.
Sasa ni wakati wa maombi na tunamuuliza Bishop Henry Morandi kutoka Christian Church International atuongoze kwa maombi.
Let us pray. Almighty God, the source of all wisdom and knowledge, we thank you for making it possible for us to gather during this memorable day of Mount Kenya University second graduation ceremony. We thank you for bringing us safely together to witness the victory you have given the graduates and the university at large. As they graduate, lead them along the paths of wisdom, that they will become resourceful citizens who can be depended upon in their generation. We thank you for the parents, the guardians, the sponsors for the provision of the resources. We know many have sacrificed the Lord to help these students come this far. Some have sold their last chicken to make them make it in this university. So we thank you, Lord, for that contribution for these students to make it to this day. We thank you, Lord, for Mount Kenya University. We pray that you may make the vision of this university to become an African role model in excellency, in training, research, innovation, and in science and technology to become a reality. Help, Lord, this university, Lord, in every way possible to prepare the next generation for this Kenya and this continent. We pray for the leadership of this university, that you may inspire them to lead diligently with wisdom that comes from you. Grant the members of this family of Mount Kenya University wise understanding that in all their endeavors they will contribute towards the noble cause of building and strengthening the university as the unity in the entire mankind. We pray for the regulating bodies and the Commission for Higher Education, guide them in all their undertakings. We pray for this nation of ours, Kenya. You've given us a beautiful country. We thank you for the President. We thank you for the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Ministers. We pray for the Vice President. We pray for the Cabinet. We pray for all those that are in authority, that they will lead this country in peace. We thank you for the last referendum, Lord, and the moments you took us through that were difficult in making decisions, and yet, Lord, you helped us as a country to go through that. We thank you for the peace that prevails in this country, and we believe, Lord, in the coming year, as they continue to prepare this constitution that will help rule and lead this country with law and order, that you will guide them. Guide our leaders, O God. We thank you for this day, that we can be Kenyans, and all that have come from outside, we pray that you bless our day, especially this graduation. We pray that, Lord, it will be crowned with your peace and with your joy. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Kwa ndugu zetu wa Islam, Sheikh Ibrahim kutoka Thika.
Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of this universe. Almighty Allah, the source of all wisdom and knowledge. We thank you for making it possible for us to gather here during this memorable day of Mount Kenya University sacred graduation ceremony. We thank you for bringing us safely together to witness the victory you have given the graduates and the university at large. As they graduate, lead them along the path of wisdom, that they will become resourceful citizens who can be depended upon in their generation. Thank you for the parents, guardians, and sponsors for the provision of the resources that were needed during their learning. Thank you for Mount Kenya University. We pray that you may make our vision of becoming an African role model in excellence, in training, research, innovation in science and technology become reality. We pray for entire leadership of this country. We pray for the entire leadership of this university, that you may inspire them to lead diligently with wisdom that becomes from you, Allah. Grant the members of this family of Mount Kenya University wise understanding, that in all the endeavor they will contribute towards the noble cause of building and strengthening the university and the unity of entire of mankind. We pray for the regulation bodies and the Commission for Higher Education. Guide them in their undertakings. We pray for our nation, Kenya. May you cause peace to dwell within our borders. Guide our President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister, and all members of Parliament, that they may lead this nation with wisdom that comes from you, Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Asante sana kwa maombi hayo. Kila kitu tukijiweka mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu kinakwenda sasa. Sasa hivi tutakuwa na entertainment, na kundi la kwanza ambalo nitalialika hapa ni YSC Choir Mount Kenya University. Asante sana mgeni mheshimiwa kwa kuwasili. Hili ndilo kundi la kwanza ambalo litatutumbuiza hii leo. Nimearifiwa kwamba hili kundi liliundwa mwaka wa 2001. Wimbo ambao watatuimbia hii leo unajulikana kama Karibuni Kwetu. Ni wimbo wa kizalendo. It's a patriotic song. Nimearifiwa pia wameweza kutengeneza kanda za CDs na VCDs. Bwana ni mchungaji wangu volume 2. Bwana amenituma volume 1. Karibuni kwaya ya YSC mkiongozwa na Wahome Samuel. Asante, asante, asante sana. YSC Choir, MKU, makofi, makofi makubwa, makofi ya kilo. Asante sana kwa wimbo wenu. Wimbo unaitwa Karibuni Kwetu. Asante sana, asante sana. Najua mlikuwa mnataka kuimba zaidi lakini muda umetupa kisogo. Makofi mengine kwa YSC Choir, Mount Kenya University. With your permission, Chief Guest, sir, I'd like to recognize the presence of the following. Minister for Higher Education, Science and Technology, Honorable William Ruto. Commissioner for CEO, Commission for Higher Education, Professor Everest Stander. I'd like to recognize Mr. Cheboy from Higher Education Loans Board, HELB. I'd like to recognize the chairman and founder of Mount Kenya University, Mr. Simon Gisharo. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something very unique about the chairman. From a classroom teacher to the proud owner of one of the leading universities in Kenya. I'm told that Mr. Simon Gicharu, as the chairman of Mount Kenya University, he often finds himself getting involved with student welfare. And some of the most touching moments have been helping them sort out personal issues. In almost all occasions, Mr. Gicharu, he has succeeded through dialogue and persuasion, virtues which he preaches to anyone he comes across. I'd like to recognize the presence of vice chancellors of other universities, professors of other universities, MKU, JKU Arts, Kenyatta University, Moi University, Gulu University, and Narok University. I'd like to recognize the presence of the Libyan ambassador, Hasham Ali Sharif, and rector of Rwanda University, Mr. Kabera. Sasa hivi muda unazidi kuyoyoma, lakini tuna makundi kama mawili hivi au matatu, sijui Vice Chancellor waendelee. Kwa hiyo kwa ruksa yako mgeni wetu wa heshima hii leo, makamu wa rais na waziri wa mashauri ya humu nchini, Mheshimiwa Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, ningependa kuchukua fursa hii kualika Chuka dancers, original Chuka drummers. Wachezaji ngoma kutoka Chuka, tafadhali, ukumbi ni wenu sasa hivi. Nimearifiwa kwamba hili kundi liliundwa mwaka wa 1947. Na kwa hiyo wale wa kundi asilia, the original group, ni babu za hawa wachezaji ngoma. Na wataimba wimbo wa Kichuka, na hili kundi linatoka Mukuni location, Meru South, Chuka area. Kiongozi wao ni Micheni Day. Karibuni. I'm told that the Chuka dancers have been able to be with us today by courtesy of Honorable Kiraito Morongi, the Minister for Energy. Asante, asante Chuka dancers. Asante, asante. Asante, asante kwa wimbo wenu. Asante. Asante sana, makofi kwa Shuka dancers. Waswahili wanasema asiye na mila ni mtumwa, na kwa hiyo hao ndio wamewakilisha utamaduni kutoka sehemu ya Meru South. With your permission, the chief guest, I would like now to call upon a graduate, William Ruto, from Mount Kenya University Course Center. He has a poem to recite. William Ruto kutoka Mount Kenya University Coast, yeye ana shairi ambalo atalikariri hii leo kwa lugha ya Kiswahili.
Assalamu alaikum wageni waheshimiwa, waalikwa wa staha na wasomi wenzangu. Jukwani si mwingine bali ni William Ruto, na hakika mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika. Makinika. Nalianza kwa furaha shairi kulikariri, nikikipa kwa madaha chuo chetu sifa nzuri, nikisema kwa furaha na shairi, hakika mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika. Hakika mlima Kenya na kusifu tena sana, wakukushinda sipati, sababu umetukuka, mfano wako sipati, magharibi mashariki. Hakika mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika. Tazamayo majumba yang'aavyo kwa mbali, madarasa ya potele, vile vile maabara na maktaba iliyo bora kote Kenya. Hakika mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika. Michezoni tufikapo, mlima Kenya namba 1, hodari katika soka na voliboli vile vile, na rekodi tumeweka. Sasa vijana riadha, Mlima Kenya urithi wa hakika. Vipo wapi vyo tasa? Hebu sasa tukumbuke vile nguruma nchini kama yule simba jike, kwa uchungu wa moyoni vikakimya, mwisho wake tukabaki Mlima Kenya, chuo chetu cha hakika. Watu wote karibuni kwenye chuo chenye raha, kote kote tembeheni bila woga na karaha, balkoni zipotele, hewa njema ya kupunga. Hakika Mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika. Wasomi wangu waridi ladi, wenye misuli stadi, wacheza center forward, mulicheza kikaidi, mukaivunja rekodi, pokea yenu zawadi ya huwa wenye mradi. Kuna mengi ya kusema, ikiwa kuna wakati. Hivi sasa ninahama, tukutane kwa bahati, mambo yote kwa karima, kwani yeye ndiye utu. Hakika Mlima Kenya ni urithi wa hakika.
The chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, that poem was in praise of Mount Kenya, from where Mount Kenya University derived its name. Hilo shairi lilikuwa ni kusifu Mlima Kenya, ambayo ndio chuo kikuu cha Mount Kenya University. Waandishi habari wenzangu, nimearifiwa kwamba tafadhali mufanye mwanya hapo kidogo, ndio kamera za KBC ziweze kuchukua vizuri live. Muwe na mwanya kidogo hapo ili kamera ziweze kufanya kazi vizuri. Mtoe nafasi kidogo hapo. Vice Chancellor, do we continue with entertainment? Oh. Nimejulishwa kwamba bado kuna muda kidogo. Tutakuwa na kundi Mount Kenya University Nakuru Center. Mount Kenya University Nakuru Center. God is watching us from a distance.
God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance.
Asante sana. Asante sana MKU Nakuru Campus kwa wimbo wenu. A very popular tune, From a Distance. Kundi la mwisho ni MKU Nairobi Center. MKU Nairobi Center. Hili ndilo kundi la mwisho katika ratiba yetu ya matumbuizo ama entertainment. Asante.
Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable William Ruto, the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, the Chairman, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. On stage is Mount Kenya University, Nairobi campus, with a narration entitled Mjali Watu. Let him tell us.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, from the pinnacle of Mount Kenya, down its valley, where gentlemen and gentle ladies have not learned to obey zebras crossing, but lions crossing. Long time ago, but not long time ago, I think the year 0.00 times 10 power negative 2 BC, before scientists discovered the remains of Homo pithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and fun websites like www.sokomjinga.madhyoya.com.
Marhaba, you have heard it with your 2 ears. These were the days when education was a myth and teachers were legends. A time when all hell broke loose and education was nothing but an illusion. These were the days when the Constitution of Sokomjinga, Chapter 6, Clause 9a stated that a beautiful girl was directly proportional to her head minus the brain, which was equals to 0. I did not draft the Constitution. So this meant the way of modernization was only meant for boys. Amidst all this confusion of food and ikuvute, 1 year after independence, oh yes, so vividly I remember, a gentle boy was born, and his name was Mjali Watu. Ati? Mjali Watu. Oh yes, Mjali Watu was his name. In a land where the toothless smile vigorously, and where men had too much to eat and were seen pregnant. Mjali Watu embarked on a journey of 1 step. Little did he know it was a journey of 1,000 miles. There came a time when Mjali Watu's freezing point was higher than his boiling point, and his polarization was greater than his magnetization.
What is that?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this meant Mjali Watu alihitaji mchumba. Thank you. In the year 1991, oh yes, Mjali Watu alifunga pingu za maisha, ulala, with a very, very beautiful lady whose beauty made the insane normal and whose smile, wow, don't you love that smile? It made the doctors patients. Oh, after doing a simple mathematics of 1 minus 1 is equals to -1, Mjali watu got conversant with the systematic studies of mathematics and enlargement known as
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, in the year 1995, luck struck at the doorstep of Mjaliwatu. He was among the few who had an opportunity to go and study. How further studies in the UK? Yani, United Kisumu. Oh, I am sorry, United Kingdom. Oh yes, after 1 year, he came back. And like a mustard seed, he started from a sublet classroom. And now, to the present status, campuses spread all over. Here we are now today, in our main campus, Thika.
Nairobi campus, Mombasa campus, Eldoret campus, Nakuru campus.
Bas!
and boss,
Yes?
border to go Rwanda.
Oh! Now we are even in Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, during this time he used to act as a manager, as a cleaner, as a teacher, and even at the same time, as a messenger. Now to the current status of an entrepreneur, a visionary, and the proprietor of the Mount Kenya University. This was just an idea that has come to be true. Brilliance of ideas coupled together with determination, hard work. Now our graduates, here they are, majestically coming. Our great lawyers, our business executives, our journalists, our pharmacists. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice President, Honorable Ministers, colleagues, associates, family members, today we are gathered here to celebrate the fruits of hard labor, the rise of Mount Kenya University to the global limelight.
Asante sana. Mount Kenya University, Nairobi Center.
Msichana mrembo kama wewe, kwa nini unakataa kusoma? Elimu tunayo ya kutosha, kwa nini usikuje Mount Kenya? Msichana mrembo kama wewe, kwa nini unakataa kusoma? Elimu tunayo ya kutosha, kwa nini usikuje Mount Kenya?
Can I play a psychological game with you?
Yes.
How many people remember my name?
Mjaliwatu. Mjaliwatu is my name. A man of simplistic nature who stops at nothing but making complex decisions that exemplify his managerial skills.
A great manager, a great visionary, and above all, a peacemaker, making him achieve what others only dream of. He is
Thank you very much. Mount Kenya University, Nairobi campus.
Wengine walisema hatutafaulu. Sasa hapa utani sisi namba 1. Mount Kenya, Kenya, Kenya uni yetu. Mount Kenya, Kenya, Kenya uni yetu. Kanyaga uni yako kwa nguvu na raha. Hiyo ni hakikisho ya chamani wetu. Wengine walisema hatutafaulu. Sasa hapa utani sisi
Asanteni, asante sana. Makofi kwa Mount Kenya University, Nairobi campus. Sasa wamepiga about turn. Wao ni nambari 1. Na hakuna tashwishi yoyote kuhusiana na udhahiri huo wa mambo. The chief guest, Vice President. The Chief Guest, Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. I would like now to take this opportunity to kindly ask the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs, Professor John Ruto, to address the congregation.
Madam Chancellor, allow me to invite the Vice Chancellor to address the congregation.
Your Excellency, Chief Guest, Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, the Minister for Higher Education and Science and Technology, Honorable William Ruto, the Secretary Commissioner for Higher Education, Professor Standa, Secretary Higher Education's Loan Board, Mr. Siboy, Your Excellency, the Ambassador to Kenya from Libya, the Chancellor, the Chairman Board of Trustees, Mount Kenya University, trustees, council members of Mount Kenya University, the Pro-Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Professor George Yeshwani, the Rector, Rwanda Tourism University College, Mr. Kabera, all Vice Chancellors present, members of the University Management Board, religious leaders, all other leaders present, distinguished invited guests, members of the congregation, graduates, staff and students, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you all to this very auspicious occasion in the academic life of Mount Kenya University. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, your acceptance to grace this year's graduation ceremony makes it a very special occasion for Mount Kenya University community. On behalf of the entire university community, sir, and the congregation, I warmly welcome you to the second graduation ceremony. During today's ceremony, we will witness the awarding of various academic certificates to 1,476 candidates in the following categories: honorary degrees 2, bachelor's degree certificates 38, diploma certificates 1,708, certificates 3,358. Ladies and gentlemen, 14 years ago, the founder and sponsor of Mount Kenya University, Mr. Simon Kicharu, conceived the idea of establishing a university with a unique academic tradition. His dream was to create a dynamic learning institution founded on strong principles of innovation and invention. He therefore envisaged a university that would accomplish the following key objectives: impart knowledge, skills, and values, enhance competencies and skills that promote generation of knowledge that can be utilized in the process of socio-economic development, promote social equality, impart values and attitudes that lead to character transformation, promote creative thinking that leads to innovation, and make the disadvantage of today the advantage of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, to realize the objectives, the University Board of Trustees is investing heavily in the growth of the university. This is intended to enable the university development requisite capacity for human resource development, knowledge generation and utilization, and service provision. The university's development roadmap has been carefully articulated in the 2008-2018 University Strategic Plan. In the plan, we identified the following 5 key priority areas to drive the vision of the university. First, the first priority area is the expansion of academic programs. In this regard, Mount Kenya University has made significant achievements in expanding its academic programs since its inception on 30th May 2008. Besides the certificate and diploma programs that the university took over from the precursor Thika Institute of Technology, Mount Kenya University has increased its approved degree programs from only 1 in 2008 to 8 currently. These programs that have been approved by the Commissioner for Higher Education are Bachelor of Information Technology, Bachelor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences, Bachelor of Science in Clinical Medicine, Bachelor of Education Arts, Bachelor of Education Science, Bachelor of Business Management, and Bachelor of Counseling Psychology. Apart from working with the Commission for Higher Education in the approval of the programs, the university also works closely with other key stakeholders and regulatory agencies to ensure our courses are relevant to market demands. The following are some of the key regulatory agencies and stakeholders with which the university works closely with: the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board, Clinical Officers Council of Kenya, Kenya Pharmaceutical Association, Kenya Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technologies Board, Kenya Medical Scientific Officers of Kenya, Council of Legal Education, and Teachers Service Commission, among others. Further, the university offers various bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees through academic exchange programs with other universities. Some of our partner institutions are Gulu University, a public university in Uganda, and Rwanda Tourist University in Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, as a result of the above efforts, the university student population has increased from 3,000 in 2008 to 8,110 by ACAS 2010. The student enrollment per program is as follows: certificate, 2,777, diploma, 3,845, bachelor's, 1,401, master's, 83, doctorate, 5. The second priority area which has been identified in our strategic plan is academic linkages. The academic linkages are important in creating and nurturing synergy for growth. They allow sharing of academic resources. The university has useful partnership with the following institutions and organizations: Gulu University in Uganda, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Rwanda Tourism University College, Thika District Hospital, Consolata Hospital Kupu, Katundu District Hospital, International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, ISIPE, Imenti South T Sako, Islamic Teachers Training College in Mombasa, Step Up College in Nakuru, African International College in Eldoret, Association of Volunteers, Service International, AFIS Foundation, and Sustainability Opportunity Training, Epidemiology, Networking, Interdependence, Sotoni of Kenya. Moreover, the synergy resulting from the partnerships has propelled the university to a very favorable local and regional rating in the last 2 years. The third area of emphasis in the strategic plan is teaching and research. As a university, we are alive to the fact that an institution of higher learning worth its name derives its reputation from the strength of its teaching and research activities. In this respect, the university has policies that support and promote quality control and assurance in the processes of student admission, staff recruitment, teaching, learning, examination, research, and governance. In recognition of the importance of quality training, the university management has established a Directorate of Quality Assurance and Control to ensure compliance with policies governing university operations. We also have put in place a Directorate of Research and Extension to coordinate and consolidate all activities and matters related to research. The fourth area of focus is student support systems. As our main clients, we have put in place we put a lot of premium on our students. The university has therefore developed support systems for student academic and non-academic affairs. In this respect, the key student support services are as follows: academic career advisory systems, which give guidance on career issues, guidance and counseling structures that provide life skills to support psychological and social aspects of student life, appropriate HIV and AIDS intervention measures, systems that promote co-curriculum activities, chaplaincy to provide support to student spiritual life, and open fora which facilitate dialogue between students and management. Finally, the strategic plan has put in place a strong governance, university governance structure and management structure. Already, a board of trustees, university council, senate, and university management board are in place. These organs are important in giving policy management, academic, and administrative direction to the institution. In conclusion, I congratulate the graduates on qualifying for the award of the various certificates, diplomas, and degrees. To the graduates, I have this to say: you should remember that the society expects you to effectively utilize the competencies, skills, and values you have acquired from Mount Kenya University. This will help you to create wealth through informal and formal employment and become responsible citizens. As you leave Mount Kenya University, I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Once again, thank you, and may God bless you. Madam Chancellor, allow me to invite the Chairman, Board of Trustees, and the founder of Mount Kenya University, Mr. Simon Gicharu, to address the congregation. Thank you.
That's good. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Minister for Higher Education, Science and Technology, Honorable William Ruto, Secretary, Commission for Higher Education, Professor Everett Stada, Secretary, Higher Education Loans Board, Honorable Abdi Afi, and also Honorable Jega Karume, who is seated ahead of us here. The founder of Rwanda Tourism University, Madam Zulfat Mokarubega, His Excellency the Ambassador for Arabia, His Excellency the Ambassador for Nigeria, who is also present with us here, and also the Ambassador for Rwanda, who is here, who sent his apologies. The Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Professor Victoria Ursin, the Pro-Chancellor, Professor George Eswani, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Stanley Waudo, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor John Derito, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Finance and Planning, Peter Waweru, Director, Rwanda Tourism University College, Karista Kabera, my colleagues, Board of Trustees, my colleagues from Guru University, deans of schools, all university staff, parents, students, graduates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address you during the second graduation ceremony for Mount Kenya University. It is indeed a great occasion in the university academic calendar. From the onset, allow me to most sincerely thank the Vice President, His Excellency, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, for agreeing to grace this event at this university. This is a great honor to Mount Kenya University. It is also an eloquent statement on the importance the government attaches to the education of our youth. Further, it is a clear affirmation on the role of private universities in the development of our country's human capital. I am happy to confirm to you, Your Excellency, that the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, which is firmly represented here today by none other than the Minister, Honorable William Ruto, has continued to support us through technical advice and direction. In addition, we enjoy a very good working relationship with the agencies in the Ministry of Science and Technology, such as Commission for Higher Education, which is represented here today by Chief Executive Officer, Professor Everett Stada, and Higher Education Loans Board, which is also represented by Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Benjamin Cheboy. I want to assure you that we value the partnership and the positive policy towards private university education in our country, promoting access and equity. One of the key objectives of our government, ladies and gentlemen, is to increase intake to higher education. Although there has been rapid expansion of university education in the last 20 years, only a small number of qualified secondary school leavers join our universities. At Mount Kenya University, we have made a deliberate effort to improve access to university education through innovative approaches to the provision of higher education. The following are some of the measures we have put in place to enable more deserving students access higher education. First, the university continues to charge affordable fees to ensure that a bigger proportion of Kenyans and also non-Kenyans access higher education. Two, we have introduced flexible fees payment models to fit into financial arrangements for students, parents, and guardians. Three, we have flexible learning programs which accommodate both the working class and non-working students. Four, we will soon be rolling out e-learning and distance education programs to cater for the needs of those in far-flung centers throughout our country. Lastly, Mount Kenya University has introduced centers and campuses in all the major urban areas such as Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, Nikubu, Nairobi, and I'm also being told we'll also introduce another one in Kisumu. Enhancing regional integration. Apart from introducing centers and campuses within the country, our university has been a key player in regional integration. Towards this end, we have collaborative partnerships with the Guru University, which is also firmly represented here today. It's a public university in Uganda, and also Rwanda Tourism University College, Rwanda Tourism University College. Indeed, some of the graduates in today's congregation are from Rwanda Tourism University College through the collaboration we have between us and them. We will continue to strengthen these collaborative partnerships so as to open our education boundaries to students across the region. To this end, Your Excellency, we have been allowed by the Minister for Education of the Republic of Rwanda to open a Mount Kenya University in Kigali, and I'm told plans are at an advanced stage to open that center very soon, maybe September this year. The Vision 2030, role of private universities. Ladies and gentlemen, our graduation ceremony comes at a time when the government has intensified efforts to realize Vision 2030. As you all know, Vision 2030 is the country's development blueprint for the next 20 years. Vision 2030 seeks to transform Kenya into a newly industrialized nation by 2030. It is anticipated that universities will play a key role in helping the country attain the projected 10% annual economic growth. I want to assure our Vice President and Minister for Education and Minister for Education, Science and Technology that, and all those who are gathered here today, that Mount Kenya University will actively play its role in realizing Vision 2030. When we conceived the idea of Mount Kenya University, we envisioned an institution that would chart a completely new path in the provision of higher education. As our elder statesman, Nelson Mandela, once said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Your Excellency, from the beginning, we set ourselves on the path to be a university with a world-class reputation for innovation and use of communication information technology. These two are important in addressing the development needs of our country. Over the years, we have continued to fashion our programs to address the needs of our society at large, and especially our rural communities where most of the population live. This is the trend world over, and I'm satisfied that Mount Kenya University is treading the path. This is particularly supported by the recent favorable ranking of the university by Webnometrics. In its recent report, this international university ranking agency recognized Mount Kenya University as one of the leading universities in the region, investing in innovation, science, and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, as a university of the 21st century, our ambitious agenda for the future is backed by a major investment in infrastructure, facilities, and staff. This is the goal we have set to pursue with passion. It is a goal we are well on the way to achieving. In this respect, we have invested in 100 acres of land along Garissa Road, which we intend to strengthen our foundation for technology, innovation, and science-based academic culture by constructing a science technology center worth about 900 million shillings in the initial phase 1 of our development agenda. Additionally, His Excellency, in May this year, the University Board of Trustees acquired MKU Towers, a modern multi-story building along Moi Avenue in Nairobi City at a cost of about 500 million shillings. We are currently converting the building into a state-of-the-art center for e-learning and continuing and distance education, and also as a center that will control and manage our distance education programs in the entire region. Corporate social responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, in this regard to corporate social responsibility, we have developed a comprehensive policy to support community-based activities which add value to the lives of our people. This is as a result of the realization that we are a part of the community. We have also made deliberate efforts to invest in an academic talents in our students. To this end, we have so far spent a substantial amount of money to identify and develop talents in the arts, theater, culture, and music. We will continue to encourage our students to showcase their best in all fields. Conclusion. As I come to the close of my address to you today, let me once again thank His Excellency the Vice President and the Minister for Higher Education, Science and Technology for finding time to grace our second graduation ceremony. This is a clear testimony that the government values partnership with the private universities. To the graduates, I wish to say this. Even if you forget everything we taught you, you must remember one thing: endeavor to make a difference in our society. Be a job creator, not a job seeker. Finally, one of the most famous educationists, Professor Johnny Dewey, said the following: education is a process of living and not a preparation for future living. Once again, thank you very much, and may God bless you abundantly as we proceed with this graduation ceremony. His Excellency, Madam Chancellor, allow me to invite the Pro-Chancellor, Professor George Eswani, to invite the Chancellor to address this congregation. Thank you.
Our chief guest, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya and Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Minister of Higher Education, Honorable William Ruto, the Chancellor of this university, the Chairman of the university, Vice Chancellor, all distinguished guests, members of the Mount Kenya University, students, parents, and guardians. Our guest of honor, please allow me to join my colleagues and staff and students of Mount Kenya University in welcoming you here to this second graduation ceremony. This is a day of celebration for the university, but it's also a day of reflection. It gives all of us an opportunity to share our joys with the parents and guardians of our students, and an opportunity to welcome the Kenyan public to see what we have achieved here in a very short time, but also to give a warning to our competitors that we are on the way, and we hope to create here a brand of higher education. I'll say a few words that our chief guest, you may want to take to the government through the Minister of Education, that I believe are helpful in our development of higher education. One area that I want to address myself to is the area of admission of students to both public and private universities. Currently, there are 3 tiers of admission. The first one is through the Joint Admissions Board, of which I'm a founder member. The second one is through the parallel programs, school-based programs, and open learning programs. And I've been informed that the main motivation for this window of admission is not necessarily for the public good, but for the financial gain. The third window of admission is via private universities individually. This type of admission has the potential, or this type, 3 type of admissions have the potential of creating inequalities or inequities in our higher education system. I am a believer in Jeff Koinange's slogan, "We are all Kenyans all the time." And in this regard, I would like to suggest that we should do away with the idea of second-class citizens through the admission structure that we have established, particularly in our public universities. I wish to request the Minister of Education, of Higher Education, to look into the possibilities of creating a national university admissions board for all students in the public as well as in the private universities. The Joint University Board has done its run and is certainly tired. Secondly, our guest of honor, I wish to suggest the government that time has come to open or to establish Open Learning University, the Kenya Open Learning University. This will go a long way to deal with the large numbers of people who want to join universities and they can't do it. In fact, I'll go ahead and say it will be a cheaper way of perhaps offering higher education, quality higher education to Kenyans. With these few remarks, allow me to invite the Chancellor, Professor Victoria Wells Wilson, to address the congregation as the Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Chief Guest, Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Vice President of the Great Republic of Kenya and Minister for Home Affairs. Honorable William Ruto, Minister for Higher Education and Technology. Honorable Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Chairman and members of the Board of Trustees of Mount Kenya University, the Pro-Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, the Vice Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Vice Chancellors from other universities, Chairman and members of the University Council, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the University Management Board, religious leaders, local government leaders, distinguished guests, members of the congregation, staff and students, ladies and gentlemen, and most of all, the graduands today, I greet you. Your Excellency, the Chief Guest and members of the congregation, on behalf of the Mount Kenya University community, I warmly welcome you to the second graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University. Mount Kenya University has put several measures in place to assure quality of its programs. It is well known that quality learning, teaching, and research require that a regular review and improvement of service delivery processes, a stimulating and innovative environment, the engagement of community and alumni, infrastructure and organizational capabilities, and best practices, both locally and internationally, be put in place. We at Mount Kenya University are committed to quality teaching and learning programs. We use benchmarking, student rating of subjects and teaching, external expert review. We collaborate with experts in various fields who not only evaluate our curriculum, but also serve as external examiners and assessors. We also use internationally recognized processes and national recruitment criteria, staff development to advance knowledge, motivation of staff, and performance appraisal. We recognize and reward staff and students who excel in their work. The university has an annual award scheme at which top performers are recognized. We organize seminars and workshops to discuss research proposals and research findings. For instance, our Nakuru campus organized its first conference only last month, at which research findings were presented. These presentations are currently being edited for publication. Last week, 5 of our doctoral candidates presented their research proposals at the first postgraduate seminar held in Nairobi. Our staff participates in academic national and international fora. On infrastructure, our university has sufficient laboratories and a well-equipped library. These facilities are constantly being upgraded and improved to meet the changing needs. We have put mechanisms in place to ensure that we not only attract quality students, but also produce quality graduands. To ensure we admit good students, we collaborate with and adhere to standards set by the Commission of Higher Education, as well as by professional bodies such as the Council of Legal Education, Pharmacy and Poisons Board, and Clinical Officers Council. On management, structures have been put in place that ensure constant consultation and fairness in the development and implementation of policies. The structures allow for broad participation in decision-making. There are many committees that cater for both bottom-up and top-down approaches in decision-making. Mount Kenya University is also keeping up with international trends in higher education. Opportunities exist at Mount Kenya University for academic staff exchanges that allow for co-offering of curricula. In particular, our university presently has collaborations with JKUAT, Gulu University in Uganda, and Rwanda Tourism University. Institutional learning and teaching processes have been decentralized through the establishment of satellite campuses in Mombasa, Nakuru, Nkubu, Mumias, and Eldoret. Plans are afoot to open more campuses in other towns. Teachers who are normally very busy during the normal school term have an opportunity to further their education through the school-based program. Some programs in open and distance learning are in place, and these are being expanded. These serve to remove the necessity for class attendance, and they increase access to education. To augment these programs, facilities for ICT, as well as sharing of library resources, have been enhanced. We also encourage those who seek to upgrade their qualifications. Provision has been made for students to progress from certificate to diploma and to degree level. We are collaborating with the Commission for Higher Education in the development of criteria for credit transfers within the East African region. Above all these endeavors, we promote a culture of lifelong learning. Our graduates today are a living testimony of what I have said. I therefore take this opportunity to congratulate the graduands and their families. I encourage them to go into the world and make great exploits as they remember the values learned at Mount Kenya University. May God bless you today, tomorrow, and always. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, it is now my privilege to welcome the Minister for Higher Education to address the congregation. On behalf of the Council, the management, staff, and students of Mount Kenya University, Mr. Minister, I'm happy to welcome you to this university and to request you to address the congregation. Yesterday, a nephew of mine called me to find out if I was at home so that he could pay me a visit. I informed him that I would be away attending this graduation ceremony. And he asked me the question, is the Minister of Education going to be there too? At which I replied, I was not sure. Now I can call him and say that you are here. And during our telephone conversation, he complained that you had missed their graduation ceremony at Jomo Kenyatta University. And when I asked him what exactly he had missed, he said, Ruto is a young man like us, and is particularly energetic, focused, and inspiring. I believe that the thoughts of my nephew represent those of most of the young people seated here today. And it is with this in mind that I warmly invite you to address the congregation.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Madam Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, the Chairman of Council of Mount Kenya University and fellow council members, the Vice Chancellor, members of Senate, staff, students, parents, and guardians, distinguished members of this congregation, members of the diplomatic corps, friends. I am happy to be part of this grand second graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University. Professor Eshiwani, whom I have known for a very long time, has the habit of reporting on me whenever I don't do things right. You know, Professor, that it's not always that I want to miss a ceremony that involves my ministry. But if I may use this occasion to explain myself, I was not in a position to attend the ceremony in JKUAT or JKUAT because I was involved in the referendum campaigns. And now that they are over, the campaigns are over, that is why I am here. But more importantly, I want to take this occasion to congratulate Mount Kenya University for a job well done. Mount Kenya University is exemplary in many ways. Exemplary in the fact that from very humble beginnings, we have now a university that is ranked among the best. And for my ministry, we want to say congratulations. I'm sure you are aware that we are on the final nuts and bolts so that we can award Mount Kenya University the necessary charter to enable you move into the next level. I have had occasion to look at the assessments that have been done on your curriculum, on your physical facilities, on your teaching capacity, a human resource, and many other requirements that must be met before charter is given to any university. And I'm happy that Mount Kenya University has measured up and sometimes gone beyond what was expected of them. And in a very short while, we will be concluding the process of the award of charter of this university. And I believe very strongly that that award of charter will give you the necessary impetus to take this university to a truly world-class university. And on that, you have the support of my ministry and the government of Kenya. Your Excellency, Madam Vice Chancellor, it is indeed the responsibility of my ministry through the Commission for Higher Education to provide a legal framework and a conducive environment for both our public universities and private universities to play their role in the very critical area of development of our human capital. I want to say that as a government, we realize that the single critical resource that we have as a country is our human capital. And our human capital must be armed with the necessary skills and expertise for them to be able to contribute meaningfully to our national development. It is through facilities and institutions like Mount Kenya University that indeed we train our young men and women, equip them with the necessary expertise for them to make meaningful contribution to the development of our nation. And we realize that for us to achieve this, there is need for an agreed framework between all the stakeholders, including government, so that we can tap the great potential of our human resource in Kenya, train it appropriately, so that we can make the most out of our young men and women. And in so doing, I want to say that we are looking at 3 critical areas that will address the issue of access. You may be aware that this year, through the formal process, approximately 24,000 of our graduates of last year, of the year before, will be joining universities anytime now. We have another 80,000 who will not have an opportunity to join any university in our public sector. And therefore, the issue of access is still a very central and integral part of what we need to do, both as a government and as a country. And to address ourselves to the issue of access, we are exploring several areas. One is what was mentioned here by Professor Ishiwani, and I want to give guarantee here that my ministry is in the final stages of ensuring that we have a Kenya Open University inside 1 year. We believe that a Kenya Open University will not only open new opportunity for those who cannot have access to places either in our public or private universities, but this will give additional capacity for us to absorb those who graduate out of our formal school system. Secondly, we are looking as a government at using the capacity that exists in our private universities, which at the moment is to some extent idle capacity. And we want to explore the possibility of allowing even private universities to participate in the admission of all our students who come from our formal school system, so that together with the public universities, they can jointly admit students whenever they graduate, and that way we can benefit from capacity that exists in private universities like Mount Kenya in addressing the issue of access that currently is a challenge to our country. And thirdly, there are discussions at an advanced stage to look at what we can do in our public universities to enhance the capacity they have by increasing that capacity, especially where we have stalled projects or projects that are incomplete. And my ministry and treasury are discussing how we are going to possibly have a universities bond that will access cheap money for us to develop additional capacity in our public universities. When I say this, I say it because there are 3 fundamental issues that we must address ourselves to. One is the issue of access, which I have talked about. The other is the issue of quality. And the third one is the issue of affordability. And I am happy that Mount Kenya University is providing leadership in the area of making university education affordable. And of course, critically, is the last issue of relevance. It is one thing to have graduates. It is one thing to have access. But as a country, we must develop the skills and the expertise that are relevant to our requirements as a nation for us to perform and for us to reach the tenets of Vision 2030. We must train young men and women, arm them with skills and expertise in fields that are relevant to our market requirements and our industry requirements, so that we can be on the path to a truly stable and prosperous Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the dawn of the Second Republic. With the enactment of a new constitution, there is now new challenges that come with the enactment of a new constitution. And universities like Mount Kenya University and other institutions of higher learning must take up their place in providing the necessary human resource for us to tap into the potential that comes with the new impetus created by the new constitution. And I want to challenge our universities, our institutions of higher learning, that the enactment of the new constitution is the beginning. The implementation, the subsequent issues that come with the new constitution are opportunities that will only be harnessed positively if all of us play our role and carry out our responsibilities and contribute positively towards the enactment, the implementation of the new constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not time to apportion blame or look for scapegoats or look for shortcuts. It is time for all of us working together to move into the future. Look at not what the Constitution will give to you, but what you can contribute to make the new Constitution work for our motherland. That is the way we should go. And all of us must find the place to make that contribution that is necessary for us to take Kenya to the next level. I say again that it is not time for apportioning blame or for looking for scapegoats or for looking for who to blame. It is time for all of us to work together so that we can truly harness the potential that comes with a new dawn for our country. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe very strongly that as we move into the future, we will progressively implement our new constitution, amend so that we can remove the contentious and controversial and ambiguous clauses, and proceed into the future as a united country. I have no doubt in my mind that we have the capacity as a nation to scale the stairs and chew gum at the same time. Scale the stairs in terms of implementing the new constitution and chew gum in removing the controversial and ambiguous clauses. That is possible. I am confident that this country has come of age and we can move together in that general direction. Let me conclude by saying that as we move into the future, the same way we started the process of moving together, and we insisted as a nation, and correctly so, that we must have an all-inclusive process. We must move together into the future. As for those who don't think they require the input of others, I will remind them of the adage that said, "He who chooses to be his own lawyer has a fool for a client." I want to repeat. he who chooses to be his own lawyer has a fool for a client. We need each other. We must move into the future together. With those many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, again, let me congratulate Simon Gisharu, who is the founder of this university, for his vision and foresight that makes us be part of this second graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University. Let me congratulate the men and women who today is their great day, that as they step out of this university, they will find fortune and opportunity in the future they will begin after this graduation. We wish them well. We welcome them to make their contribution in making Kenya a prosperous, a stable, and a better country. Yes, I will now take this opportunity to invite our guest of honor and my friend, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Please be seated. I will not take long. Hamjambo lakini. Wazazi hamjambo. Wanafunzi hamjambo. I think it's good to be a little informal. And all because after listening to that powerful presentation by the Minister for Higher Education, the Honorable William Ruto, one is left with a little doubt as to whether to read through this speech or whether to emulate his example and just speak. But allow me to recognize a protocol by recognizing the Honorable William Ruto, the Chancellor of this magnificent university, Professor Victoria Wells Wilson, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees and founder of Mount Kenya University, Sir Simon Gicharu, Vice Chancellor Professor Stanley Waudo, Excellencies, the ambassadors and high commissioners and others who are represented, representing the various missions and embassies to our country, trustees and council of this university, the faculty and staff, graduates, parents, ladies and gentlemen. I will simply say check against delivery. A graduation ceremony as this one we're witnessing today, a momentous occasion. It's always a joyous culmination of hard work and achievement. The Honorable William Ruto, thank you for being a friend. But I also want to say that we are friends as Kenyans, and I think that is the motto. I belong to a profession which believes that nobody else has ever been to school. I'm actually an advocate and a lawyer, Honorable William Ruto. And I do not want to say that I'll be my own advocate. Lawyers and advocates and members of the legal fraternity, and I'm happy that you are actually having and constituting a proper school of law. I want to congratulate you. But those are men and women who believe they are the learned friends. They will argue in defense of their clients before a judge or before a magistrate. And if you see them in a courtroom, you think those are permanent enemies. But see them immediately after their presentations. They walk to the nearest coffee house and take coffee together. I think we have something to learn from learned friends. And I believe the Honorable William Ruto was actually acting professional, but I think he was also perhaps being himself by saying we are friends. And I believe this is a way to go as Kenyans, that we have had a great democratic exercise of trying to found a new constitution or begin one and the process. We may have argued it was very difficult to slow the Honorable William Ruto. I think when you're at 40s, age 40, you really can cover the country. He had great stamina, and the result is what we all know, that we have a constitution. I want to say something about that excitement at the tail end of my remarks, because I think it's very important. Bwana William Mwangi, so good to see you and performing so brilliantly what I think you're trained to do. This is the time to get our country together. And His Excellency the President, being the great Democrat he is, did not do what happened in 2005 after William Ruto, the Prime Minister, myself, and others started the Orange Movement, and we are ready for it. We are ready to face the music. We said a big no, for which we are all fired. This time round, the Honorable William Ruto is still Minister for Higher Education. In congratulating him, I congratulate His Excellency the President for that foresight. And the example is there's democratic space in this country. I believe Kenya will never be the same again in the manner in which we conduct our affairs, our politics, our type of democracy. Therefore, coming back to this celebration, it's clearly a time to celebrate the fruits of teamwork and commitment, bringing together students and faculty as well as management, staff, and parents. To all of you, let me take this opportunity to appreciate your efforts and to congratulate you for this collective achievement. I'm pleased to note that Mount Kenya University is a fast-growing private academic institution specializing in science and technology as disciplines. The focus on science and technology is in line with Kenya's Vision 2030 and the aspirations expounded therein. And so we have to move to the next level. Yesterday, I had to arrive in time to make it to Thika. I'm sure a lot of you will follow me on Twitter, and a lot of you follow me on Facebook will have noticed that I was in the People's Republic of China. This was my 9th visit to this great nation. China, 30 years ago, decided to open up. It was together with the USSR, Russia, as is commonly referred to, during the days of the Cold War, a communist country. And I think they still continue to be committed through the principles of the Communist Party of China to that vision, the original vision of bringing together a very caring community. But they realized that that conduct in terms of party policy was dragging it behind. And therefore, 30 years ago, they decided to open up the country. 30 years later, that country's economy started by surpassing that of France. And next to fall was the UK, not United Kisumu, but United Kingdom. And the third to fall was Germany. And Germany is a great economy. In fact, as I speak to you, it is the only country that is growing forcefully within the European family of nations. Germany is a very strong economy. But China was able to overtake Germany. And then now, this last week, the second largest economy in the world has been Japan. But this last week, it has been surpassed by China. What, therefore, when we talk about Vision 2030, I want you to believe that we can do it. And therefore, Mount Kenya University, a lot of Chinese universities and other universities do have, in fact, companies that are listed in the stock exchange because of innovation and discovery. I want to challenge all of us that although China still maintains that she's a developing nation, because of the fact that per capita, in terms of per capita, the country lags behind because the population of 1.3 billion taken against that of Japan, you find that per capita angling is one that makes it feel that she's still a developing nation. But you can imagine in the next 30 years what is going to happen to China. I've just seen some Chinese companies working on the road to Thika, our industrial city. Thika is not yet a city. Bwana Simon Gicharu and Mount Kenya University, I congratulate you for the vision of starting this thing in Thika. It is my way home to my constituency. I hope you can have a campus in Mwingi. I heard you counting places. But I know you're afraid of the drought. But let me tell you that that drought is a future, because perhaps have a faculty dealing with mining, because there's great discoveries in that dry territory of this country. And therefore you hear of core deposits which are in trillions of tons. And therefore you might want to have an engineering faculty and clearly station it in Mwingi in order to catch up with the Mui Basin for development of coal and other mineral resources. So every part of this country is feasible. I want to suggest to Mr. Gicharu, think wide, think innovative, as you have already done. When I was minister, I'm sure Kenyans have forgotten, I was once minister for education. In fact, I combined both higher and basic for 3.5 years. It was then that I had this vision of saying that Kenyans love taking their children out of the country to the United Kingdom. You should see the amount of foreign exchange that we donate to other nations when it's graduation season. Graduation season in London, in Australia, in America. A lot of parents go there to witness the graduation of their children. I said, couldn't we reverse this? And Honorable William Ruto, I want to suggest that you consider following up on what we started that time. I went to Pakistan, a country that perhaps at the moment right now is bleeding because of the current flooding that is taking place as a result of problems of climate change. But in Karachi, I found the Aga Khan University. And they wanted to set up a campus in Kenya, just like Mount Kenya University is trying to set up a campus in Rwanda. In fact, I'm told in Kigali and in Gisenyi. And this is the right way to go. Imagine Oxford University having a campus in Kenya, London School of Economics, where President Kibaki went to school, having a campus in Kenya. This will save Kenyans the money that we need to develop. But I think this is a challenge, as I said, that I want to give to the Ministry of Higher Education. Because as a result of that initial step, we now have the Aga Khan University, the Aga Khan Hospital, being the teaching and referral hospital of the Aga Khan University. This is the way to go. And I'm happy that this university is also collaborating, rightly so, with the Thika District Hospital. And coming to Thika, in another 2 years, I see that the city of Nairobi will be moving in this direction. Maybe they'll continue to Mwingi. I'm told that to afford prices here to buy property in Thika is becoming absolutely expensive. This is very exciting, absolutely exciting. And therefore, I also want to challenge, even as government looks at the wonderful work by the Chinese contractors here working on this road, that we also don't lose sight of our own contractors, Kenyan contractors, because they also need to learn from their Chinese competitors and be able also to look as competitive and have companies that are construction companies in Kenya doing business everywhere in Africa. I think this can also constitute part of the vision of this university. Therefore, I want to join others in appreciating the contribution of Mr. Simon Gicharu, the founder and sponsor of Mount Kenya University, for not just having a dream that was in tandem with our country's aspirations, but actually turning the dream into reality. This magnificent university is an investment in the country's future. Indeed, a testimony of Mr. Gicharu's passion for education and commitment to a better future for our country. When he stood here, I thought he really was a good example of Mount Kenya itself, his presence, and everybody appreciating what indeed you've been able to do. Please keep up the good work. And I think all of us do need to follow that example of innovation. and risk-taking, because this is important. There is always that element of taking a risk. But a lot of us like to live in our comfort zones, and you don't want to take any risk. Kenyans don't even like to borrow money from the bank because they know that it comes with a lot of other challenges. But I think we need to, as a nation, take the risks and together move to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, session of paper number 2 of 1982 on science and technology for development does recognize scientific knowledge as a fundamental tool for economic transformation. However, investing in science and technology is not a simple undertaking. It requires a coordinated approach and broad participation by all the universities and academic institutions, private and public. It demands pooling resources to improve existing technologies and also acquiring emerging technologies in fields such as information and communication, biotechnology, environmental management, industrial and agricultural production, and healthcare, among others. It is encouraging that the heavy investment requirement in science and technology disciplines has not deterred Mount Kenya University from scaling the heights of education. As William Ruto put it, scaling the stairs and chewing gum. I don't know whether the chewing gum aspect of it has any relevance. I think I was referring to the constitution that we are just about to launch. Indeed, this morning, I had the privilege of opening the University Dental Technology Laboratory, the first of its kind by a private university to train dental technologists in Kenya. We need to give them a big clap because this is really tremendous achievement. The dental technology program has attracted trainees from foreign countries, including Iraq, Rwanda, Uganda, and the Comoros, an indication that relevant academic programs that meet international quality standards can truly pay off. These facilities are welcome relief to Kenya's health sector, which currently suffers a huge shortage of dental surgeons. In fact, when I saw it, I thought of what I know about Kabete. Kuna Kabete ya Magego. And I saw this is Kabete ya Magego ya Thika. Ladies and gentlemen, for Kenya to realize our Vision 2030, predicated on a sustained growth rate of 10%, our education system must be aligned towards generating the critical mass of appropriate skills to spur economic social growth. In this regard, I'm aware that the Inter-University Council of East Africa is spearheading harmonization of university curricula in the East African community. Admittedly, this process needs to benefit from the experiences of other countries, such as Italy, whose Bologna system was started in 1999, with 29 European countries signing a joint declaration to enhance compatibility and comparability of European higher education systems. And please, Minister William, take seriously the suggestions by the Pro-Chancellor, Professor Shwani, on the need even to harmonize intake into universities, both public and private. I congratulate you because Higher Education Loans Board does not only service now students from public universities, but has now extended loan facilities to private institutions as well. The reform agenda in the education sector also focuses on developing curricula that enhances knowledge generation, creativity, innovation, and character transformation. It emphasizes research as an underpinning factor in economic growth. The reform effort has also embraced and institutionalized new and emerging practices in education, including distance education, open learning, space education. I'm sure Minister Ruto is aware of the Jomtien Declaration. Jomtien is a city in Thailand where the concept of education for all was embraced globally. I'm so happy that today we are seeing mushrooming of universities. As I accompanied President Kibaki all over the country as we campaigned for the new constitution, I could hear people in Narok, people in Meru, people wherever saying we do want to have this college, like Muranga College of Technology, for instance, which is the oldest, being converted to a college, a university college. Initially, of course, as a constituent college of one of the existing public universities. This was heartwarming for me because having been Minister for Education, I knew that this was a direct answer to the problem of access, as Minister Ruto and the Chancellor, and indeed the Vice Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor Eshuani have been discussing. And therefore, this is a way to go, so that as we move as a country together, we know that we are able to allow every Kenyan access to education, right from the cradle up to the university level. Indeed, I'm aware that this university is already offering some programs through distance learning, distance education, and this has gone a long way in making the university's academic programs accessible and affordable by easing demand for residential and class attendance requirements. I commend the university for this innovative measure, which I understand is also in line with the Global University for Lifelong Learning, which emphasizes a holistic approach to education based on formal, informal, and non-formal education delivery methods. I also commend this university for actively participating in community outreach programs. Indeed, I'm informed that under this program, over 170 Dadaab refugees. Dadaab again is on the way to Mwingi. If you want to know where Dadaab is, go to Mwingi first, you proceed to Garissa, and before you cross the border, you'll be in Dadaab. Imagine this university is able to have an outreach to the refugees in Dadaab refugee camp. And I'm told that the 170 of you have successfully completed a certificate course in primary teacher education program using Dadaab as your training ground. I encourage you to extend your innovative community work and skills to other rehabilitation centers such as our prisons. And if you want to discuss that, yours truly will be available because the prison band is here. These are friends, we work together, and I'm telling you, we can also, because it is no longer permissible, even under the new constitution, to assume that when you are sent to jail, you are literally condemned forever. As I conclude, let me take this opportunity to congratulate two eminent East Africans, our very own Mzee James Njenga Karume and Madam Zulfat Mokarubega of Rwanda for their immense contribution to the development and expansion of education, entrepreneurship, and leadership, which has earned them deserved recognition by this university, as I'm sure we shall shortly witness. I truly share with you the joy of being conferred with the honorary degrees of Mount Kenya University. To the graduating class, I trust you have been sufficiently awakened to the joy of learning and that you have been adequately transformed with new knowledge and positive character attributes. I liked it when Simon said, be job creators and not job seekers. That is definitely the way to go. Against this background, I'm confident that a bright future awaits you, indeed a great future for your motherland. Always remember that your success in life will depend on your integrity and other character attributes that you have acquired from this university. Reach out for the very best. Do not be contented with just getting your diploma, your certificate, your degree today. Reach out, scale the heights. I wish you a prosperous and rewarding experience in your future careers and occupations. And now, before I completely conclude, let me speak about the excitement of having a new constitution. Indeed, today is Friday. Next Friday, God willing, the country will be getting to the next level. We will be actually ushering in the Second Republic. It is absolutely exciting. And as we do that, we are not going to go to the next republic as yes and no's, as reds and greens. We are moving to that level as Kenyans, having learned that it is important to come up together as a nation. I'm a very excited Kenyan. The rebirth of a new nation. Vision 2030, therefore, becomes achievable. I want to suggest that every Kenyan, wherever they are, joins with the rest of the leadership at Uhuru Park and our international guests who will come. I think the season for campaigning is over. It will be celebration time. It will not be occasion for apportioning blame, as the Honorable William Ruto has said. It is the occasion. And you know, it's very interesting. I had earlier on this year visited one of the success stories in terms of tax management and open management. And in these days, those people used to believe you could hide money in foreign accounts. Some of them would take the monies to the Cayman Islands. I had occasion to visit that country. And what I found, there was a prime minister who was opposed because they had just found a new constitution themselves. And the prime minister was actually opposed to that constitution. But he was the first beneficiary of a new constitution. Therefore, nobody should write off anybody else. What I'm saying, and the media, please help me. Because this new constitution is fantastic when it comes to the freedom of the press, the freedom of worship, the freedom of every Kenyan. But you know, I was wondering, as I tried to follow through the internet, why it is that the Commission for National Cohesion did not challenge the media and others who are in the habit of talking about alliance building. I think alliance building is anti-national cohesion. That is my honest opinion. You know, you need to build an alliance with every Kenyan. Every Kenyan needs every other Kenyan. And therefore, the moment you allow it to us leaders to begin to prevaricate, to begin to say, you know, we want to do this, to chart a political cause, let us now, for once as Kenyans, come together. Think of this wonderful motherland. The story out of Kenya globally in the last 1-2 weeks has been phenomenal. I landed in Dubai, and the ambassador in Dubai, in receiving me as we transited to China, was able to tell me even the Arabs are saying this is wonderful. The most consultative constitution-making process has taken place in Kenya. We can continue with generation of positive stories. And I believe this is what has happened, whether we are green or red, and this is the way to go. And therefore, next Friday will be very historic. I'll probably propose that we have already to be a public holiday, and I think this the President did in response to the many Kenyans who wanted time to celebrate. And now it will be celebration time. Maybe we'll have it as Constitutional Day. Maybe we're going to turn some street in Thika as Constitution Street. It is wonderful. Just imagine, come to think of it, even the challenges that come with it. As a constitutional lawyer, I can tell you that there's no constitution that is written on a stone. A constitution must be responsive every time to the feelings and the aspirations of the people. I don't want to take this opportunity to go deeper than that. Allow me then to conclude my remarks by once again congratulating Mount Kenya University. You know, when I first heard of the name of this university, I started thinking of Dr. Kraft. And then you see there are things that are negative about Mount Kenya. Remember, William, when we were fighting against, it was bananas and oranges, we used to talk of Mount Kenya mafia. There are no mafia in this university. There's no mafia. And even Dr. Kraft himself, it used to be argued as a student of history, the first person to see Mount Kenya, and we would protest. Maybe they say the first European, a German, to see the mountain. Fine, that we can live with. But to assume that there are no people living around Mount Kenya, I think is something that we have now completely disabused the world of. It is wonderful. Mount Kenya is the symbol of our nationality. It is one of the standing tall. I would not survive in Sekuru, where I come from, without Mount Kenya, because there would be no River Tana in the first place. And without River Tana, we all die of thirst and hunger. Imagine adding thirst to hunger. That would be a bigger challenge. Therefore, we are proud of this. May Mount Kenya, therefore, Mount Kenya University and all Mount Kenya stand out strong, even as we move to the next constitutional dispensation. Long live Mount Kenya University. Long live Kenya. Thank you very much.
Madam Principal, Madam Chancellor, allow me to invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Stanley Waudo, to read the citation and invite the candidate for the honorary degree, honoris causa, Doctor of Education of Mount Kenya University.
An inspiration to many in Africa. Madame Zulfat Mokarubega was born in Nyarukengi in Rwanda in 1959 and is married with 4 children. She attended Ramba Primary School in Butura district from 1964 to 1970. She thereafter trained as a nurse and a midwife from 1971 to 1974. Upon her graduation, she worked as a midwife at the Butara Hospital. Being eager to venture into the world of business, she attended an accounting course from 1978 to 1979. She then started a business in 1980. In 1983, she started the Muhusa Technical School. Between 1984 and 2000, she served as deputy legal representative on the board of the school. Between 1995 and 1999, she managed a cloth business successfully in Kigali. In the year 2000, a committee of the Parent Association of Muhusa Technical School honored her with a certificate of appreciation for 16 years of dedicated service at the school. In the period between 1999 and 2009, she managed successfully a business in office furniture and equipment in Kigali, Rwanda. In the year 2000, she mooted the idea of starting a university in Rwanda. Between 2000 and 2006, a feasibility study on the establishment of Rwanda Tourism University College was conducted. The University College was eventually launched in 2006. From 2006 to date, she's the founder and the legal representative of the University College. Madam Mokarubega is one of the pioneers in establishing institutions of higher learning in the Republic of Rwanda. She therefore has been instrumental in developing human resource that at one time was nearly depleted. In 2008, she became a member of the Association of Hospitality Schools in Africa and is currently also a member of the executive committee of the association. She's also a founder and a president of the Association for the Handicapped in Kigali, Rwanda. She's the treasurer of the committee of the Joint Action Forum of the District of Nyarugengi. She's the vice president of Rwanda Patriotic Front Party in the district of Kisokiro. Madam Mokarubega is a member of the Private Sector Federation and the president of the specialized cell of Rwanda Patriotic Front at Rwanda Tourism University College. She's a member of the Education Commission of Rwanda, Rwanda Development Board, and the Board of Trustees of MTN Foundation. We at Mount Kenya University have the pleasure of honoring Madam Zulfat Mokarubega by conferring her the honorary degree, Doctor of Education, in the recognition of her efforts in expanding access to university education, her entrepreneurial spirit, her business acumen, her involvement in the promotion of the welfare of persons with disabilities, her tireless energy to serve as a member in numerous boards, her inspiration to many, and especially to the girl child, and for ability to multitask as a professional, a businesswoman, a brand executive, a wife, and a mother. Indeed, her achievements make her an exemplary role model. Kindly join me in congratulating Madam Zulfat Mokarubega for this award. Madam Chancellor, may I have the honor to present to you the one candidate, Madam Zulfat Mokarubega, for the conferment of the honorary degree Honoris Causa, Doctor of Education of Mount Kenya University. May the candidate be escorted for the conferment of the degree. Thank you.
Today's decision by the Mount Kenya University Senate will encourage some of us in the field of education. We should all ensure that our children and our grandchildren have the best education. I would also like to ask other universities in the country to consider other Kenyans who have also contributed to the well-being of our country, and I recognize them for their efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, although we may have overcome the difficulties we experienced in our early lives, and with the minimum knowledge in business, farming, and the other field, the world today has changed, and it calls for each of us to achieve the highest level of skills. The new technology calls for new ways of doing business, farming, and all other understandings in our everyday life. I believe we are all born with the capacity to know more, and that there is no limit to learning. Therefore, my appeal to those graduating today is that you should not stop learning just because you have graduated today. The growth and the strength of Kenya comes from education, since when it was spearheaded by the missionaries and the Kikuyu independent schools, just like the one we had in Githunguri. Let us, therefore, give the highest value to knowledge and learning. That is why I must thank the founders of the Mount Kenya University for choosing to invest in this very important area of education. In conclusion, I want to challenge leaders through the country to start schools, colleges, and the universities in their respective areas. Education is no longer a function of the government or the churches only. We should all feel challenged to promote education at all times. This is more so when we remember that some areas of our country are lagging behind economically because most of their young people never went to school. Finally, let me also take this opportunity on behalf of the Gema Cultural Association, which I am the patron, to thank Kenyans for the manner in which they conducted themselves before, during, and after the referendum period. The peace we maintained has earned this country respect from the international community. My main thanks goes to the Yes team and the Kenyans who voted for the new constitution. Similarly, Many thanks God to the North side for quickly accepting the outcome, which ensured that our country remain united. With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all, and may the Almighty God bless the management of Mount Kenya University, our country, and of all us. Thank you. Pengine mgeni wetu wa leo, Vice President wetu na waziri wa Higher Education na vile vile mwenyekiti wa Board of Trustees ya Mount Kenya University na wageni wengine na wananchi watukufu. Pengine ningesema neno moja au mbili tu kwa Kiswahili, na ningetaka kusema kwanza, yale maneno tumesikia kwa siku ya leo ni ya maana sana. Na kwanza nitoe shukurani tena kwa vile mwenyekiti na bodi yake walikaa chini wakafikiria, na mimi sikuwa ninajua unaota mpaka wakanifikiria ya kuwa wanaweza kunipatia heshima ya mwisho kama hii. Hii ni heshima kubwa sana. Sijafikiria wale watu bado kusoma waende huko juu wanaweza kuvaa hii nguo na kofia hii nimevaa kwa siku ya leo. Lakini ya Mungu ni mengi, na hiyo ndio sababu Mungu aliwasaidia mwenyekiti na wengine wakafikiria vile wanaweza kuniinua kidogo, na sasa wameniinua kidogo, na mimi sio kidogo zaidi, wameniinua zaidi. Na sitasahau na siku hii, mimi na bibi yangu na watoto wangu wako kule na familia yangu na jamii na marafiki wangu, ile kazi wamenifanyia hatutasahau hata kidogo. Yale mengine yamenifurahisha kwa siku ya leo ni vile tumezungumziwa mgeni wetu wa heshima leo, na yeye ni makamu wetu wa nchi yetu ya Kenya, wa serikali yetu. Amesema mambo ya maana sana. Ametuambia zaidi mambo ya China, mahali alitoka jana, na unajua kama ni watu wale goigoi hoe, pengine akalisema sasa niko na assistant minister, nitatuma assistant minister kwa sababu mimi nimekuja masaa 20 kutoka China na alifika usiku, na sasa tuko naye hapa. Na yale mambo ametuzungumzia inayohusu China ni mambo tunataka kufikiria sana. Mimi wakati nilienda China mara ya kwanza was 1981. It's about 30 years now. Na wakati huo walikuwa nyuma sana. Lakini kwa miaka hii 30 ile kazi imefanywa na wa China, kwa sababu nimekuwa